And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to see who will be the three drivers that will advance into tonight's um, All-Star race for the Nr2003 Diva Cup Series. As we have 42 drivers here, a couple of one-race deal drivers that are making either their only appearance of the season or just a one-off for the Diva Cup Series. Hannah Blue Jay on the pole position. Jillian Black, Amber Whitecastle, and Monica Townsend row number 2. I'm watching comps as of this recording. There's the rest of the starting grid. So here is how the format is going to work as these cars are going to roll off behind the pace car. As we're going to go to the 48. So how this is going to work is that this is going to be two parts of the Open, of the Diva Cup Series Open. The first part is going to be the Diva Open with 42 drivers. Top 3 will go into the All-Star race, which they will advance. The other 39 drivers will battle out for one final spot to transfer in the All-Star race. So basically where you are in the finishing results of this one, if you don't make the top 3, you will start on the pole for the second and final segment, which we call the Noble Sprint, which will be 17 laps of racing. So if you do the math, that is 51 laps total for today's race. A couple of drivers making their debuts, as I said, for the Diva Cup Series just for this event and this event only. Alexandria Sarnes, who starts in the 6th position. Tatiana Guerra, Emma Kaiser, a couple of other drivers making their starts. I don't know why we have the NASCAR Racing Series logo when we have the Winston Cup logo. But anyway, here we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing here at Charlotte for the Open. Of course, it's part 1 of our 2 race fun here today. Of course, it is cloudy out here at Charlotte. Amber Whitecastle going to go for the race lead here. As I said, top 3 will advance. The good news for Noguera, Sarnes, and Kaiser is that they're going to have an extra, they're going to have all these laps, and they're going to apply that straight into their points paying event for Diva Trucks, Busch, and Cup for next week. As Whitecastle got a heck of a start. Dora Marquez in the 3rd Everham Motorsports entry, sponsored by Mountain Dew on her Dodge, that 91. That is a part-time ride it will be for next season. And a Blue Jay right there. Rebecca Hawkins, former champion of the Monster Energy Series, will be going full-time in Season 2. There's Prudence Littlejohn in the 74 for Base Motorsports. There will be a new driver in this ride because Littlejohn is only running this race and this race only, and then somebody new will be in that ride. There's Tatiana Guerra driving the 4th Dale Earnhardt Incorporated car, following her teammate Prudence Martindale right there in the 15. Jennifer Power in the friendly Chevrolet for Derek Cope's team. Brianna Knight for Chip Ganassi Racing. There's Sarnes dropping back. Kaiser right there. Emily Elizabeth, Sarah Littletown, one race deal cars. There's the 40th Charlotte Baker. Thought we had some cars scraping the wall there for a second. Right now, Carla Sanat was in the final transfer spot. It's like Carla Sanat is not going to be in the transfer spot. It is now going to be Amber Whitecastle in the 67. That's, by the way, second in points. Of course, there are no points on the line for this event, this race weekend. All these drivers are doing is just trying to make the All-Star race. Simple as that. There's Little John. There's Chrissy House, who's had a tough season. Prince Martindale running top 10 of the points. A lot of drivers in the top 10 of the point standings who have not been to victory lane. They're going to really take them, are in this race, believe it or not. And there's Naguera. Whether Tatiana Naguera makes the All-Star race or not, she's going to have a good advantage. Same with Kaiser and Sarnes. Those three ladies are going to have a huge advantage going into their points-paying events here next week. Lisa Simpson in the 6, who will head into next week's race if I look at the point standings real carefully. Lisa Simpson dropped 3 spots rather to 27th in the points. And what's really crazy is that I talked about drivers who have not been to victory lane. Becky Walters, the points leader. Prudence Martindale, third in points, and Amber Whitecastle, who comes in this race goes into next week's race second in points, are not locked in the All-Star race. Scarlett Wallace owns the final transfer spot. Carla Snott would start on the pole for the Noble Sprint, which will be 17 laps of racing. There's Lauren Gribby is going to take the race lead. For all of these drivers that are running full-time, this is a good little test to see what their cars will be like, because some of them, this will be their 600 car next week here at Charlotte. And there's Carla Sonat, Prudence Martindale, Amber Whitecastle right there. There's Little John, Chrissy House. Gwen Tennyson about to lose a spot to Tatiana Naguera. Naguera is going to be racing in the Truck Series and also in the Busch Series race. So this is good testing for her for those events next week because, like I said, since she is the fourth entry out of Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, she's going to get all the experience she needs. Ethan Hall. Sorry, I was looking at comps because they just came back from commercial. Sorry if I'm whispering. I'm just reading what the title says. So, yeah. Lauren Gribius, Prudence Martindale going to take the race lead. Tatiana Naguera, the highest of the one race deal drivers, as she nearly got clipped by Chrissy House in the 16, who comes in this race dead last in points. Tatiana Naguera is not having a good season in the Diva Busch Series. There we go. Tatiana Naguera goes. Alexandria Sarnes, who is in this race, comes into next week's race here at Charlotte, 13th in the points. Tatiana Naguera, let's see where she is in points, because like I said, this is going to be big help for her. Kaiser, 28th in the point standings. And where is Tatiana Naguera, you ask? 37th in Diva Busch Series points. So really needs to turn her luck around in that series. And like I said, fortunately for her, she's going to have the upper hand over her Kaiser and Sarnes. They're going to have the upper hand because they had an extra 34 laps if they don't make it in the All-Star race. Checking back here. Annie Winters dropping back at the rear of the field, so none of these gals would make it in. There's Emily Elizabeth, Annie Crenshaw. Even if some of these drivers don't make the All-Star race, this is a good test for them going into the 600 next week. Charlotte Baker, we'll see her in Season 2. June Bailey, Monica Towns. There's Kaiser in the 83. We will see her next weekend. She and Sarnes will run part-time schedules in the Diva Cup Series next season. Same with Dora Marquez. Brooklyn Carter, of course, we'll see her friend and girlfriend, Maddie Crenshaw. There's Sarah Littletown. We'll see her next season. Same with Brianna Knight. There will be a new driver of the 74 with Littlejohn. There's Lindsay Sutton. Don't know who will be replacing Lindsay Sutton in that 66 next season. There's Rebecca Hawkins in the National Guard colors. Jennifer Power, we'll see her next season. Naguera's going to run a part-time Cup schedule next year. And Lauren Grubius just cruising away, already past the halfway point of this race. Emma Kaiser's going to be hoping to turn her season around. Remember, Kaiser's a two-time winner this season in the Diva Truck Series, so like I said, whether Kaiser, Naguera, and Sarnes make the All-Star race or not, they're going to have a nice upper hand over the other 39 drivers in Diva Bush and Trucks. And of course, we will see the other 39 Diva Trucks and Bush Series drivers here at the track next week. In fact, they're actually here. They're just not racing this week because they're not racing this weekend. They will race next weekend. So they're just getting a little what they're going to learn from the Diva Cup Series drivers, which is something that they're never used to. They're normally used to opening the race weekend up for a very long Charlotte weekend. Of course, the Truck Series drivers had their last race was Dover 3 weeks ago. Diva Bush Series just are off this week because they ran last week at South Boston. As we're inside of 10 to go. Lauren Grubius in the 29. The unluckiest driver. Or actually, no, it's actually Sarah Costello who's the unluckiest driver. Lauren Grubius is the luckiest driver. Of course, Grubius has not been to victory lane this season. Like I said, whether she wins this race or not, it's still a good effort from them. And is my eyes deceiving, or is Tatiana Naguera about to battle for a transfer spot? And my eyes are not deceiving me. Boy, if Tatiana Naguera makes the All-Star race, that's going to scratch a lot of people's heads there. And she's underneath Lisa Simpson. Well, this is a surprise that nobody saw coming. Unless you're Captain Frank. As Tatiana Naguera is now in a transfer spot in the fourth Dale Earnhardt Incorporated car following Prudence Martindale, her teammate, believe it or not. But no matter what, Kaiser and Sarnes got some extra laps. That's going to really help them going into the Truck and Bush Series races next week. Same with Naguera. These extra laps that they're having on track, this is good to help. They can go back to the shops for Diva Trucks and Bush and say, hey, this is what I learned from the Diva Cup Series Open, and this is what I did. And, That's going to be useful data they're going to have. Right now, Lisa Simpson would start on the pole for the Noble Sprint coming up. That will be in about 30 minutes. Because everybody will come to pit road and make some 4 tires and adjustments for the Noble Sprint, which, by the way, will be combined into this video. Or actually, and yeah, it'll be combined in this video. Okay, I didn't want to jinx myself there, because after the Open will be the All-Star race, and wherever the 11 drivers start from, of course, they had a random draw, and of course 12th, 13th, and 14th will be determined where you are in the deal. So if Grubius wins, she would start 12th. Martindale would start 13th. Noguera would start 14th. And then we will have the winner of the Noble Sprint. They will start 15th. So that means we're going to have 4 drivers transferring into the All-Star race to go for $1 million. And like I said, there are no points on the line. It's just pride, and that's all, if you know what I mean. And if you're a driver like Tatiana Noguera, who's struggling in the Diva Bush Series, as we're going to have a battle for the race lead, this is going to be huge for her, because that could really help some confidence, because like I said, it has not been the best of seasons for Noguera in the Diva Bush Series, as we're on the last lap of the race, and Noguera is going to go for second, so Frank's going to be happy. He's going to have one of his drivers in the All-Star race, and like I said, Noguera needs this confidence boost, because it has not been a good season. So, but the gal who goes into next week's race third in the points, Prudence Martindale, is going to win part 1 of the Diva Cup Series Open, and joining her will be Lauren Grubius and Tatiana Noguera. As Noguera will not get second, but hey, it doesn't matter. She's in the All-Star race, so good for her. As there's the official results, as I need to shut up my TV so I don't get a copyright claim. So Prudence Martindale, Lauren Grubius, and Tatiana Noguera are going to be the 3 drivers that will be in the All-Star race. Gwen Tennyson will start on the pole for the Noble Sprint. Will be alongside Lisa Simpson and so on. As you look on down through the rest of the results, and a lot of drivers who are going to be starting at the rear of the field, they're going to have their work cut out for them for the Noble Sprint coming up in a little bit. But don't go anywhere. On the other side of the break, we'll bring you the Noble Sprint, which will be the final 17 laps to find out who will be in the All-Star race for the Diva Cup Series. Don't go anywhere. All-Star Race Weekend continues right after this. Don't go anywhere, folks. And welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As group number 2 came out, they had pit stops, by the way, under the yellow flag. And Becky Walters' team got her out first, and she will be the leader coming to the restart here in the Open. This is the Noble Sprint. This is the last chance for all of these drivers to make it into the All-Star race. Of course, Noguera, Martindale, and Grubius have already got their cars back behind the wall, working on making some final adjustments before they get ready for the All-Star race. Remember, Martindale will start 12th. Lauren Grubius will start 13th. Noguera, will start 14th. And whoever wins this race will start in the 15th position. And it still has the NASCAR Racing Series logo, but the race tonight will have the Winston Cup logo. So, of course, we're going to run the race at night, not during the day. Can you imagine the points leader, Becky Walters, does not make this All-Star race, which would be a bra moment. As we're getting set for the Noble Sprint, 17 more laps of racing here for the Open. Of course, the sun has come out since we had the caution that came out. And we're back to green here at Charlotte, this time for the Noble Sprint. So everybody has made those adjustments, those that really need to start moving forward. Becky Walters will lead the first lap of the Noble Sprint. Only one driver will transfer into the All-Star race from the Noble Sprint. The rest of the drivers will go home and will try again next week, or in some people's cases, will be racing next week in Diva Trucks and Busch Series. This is the last chance, as I said, for a driver to make it in the All-Star race. Sarnes is currently on the outside looking in. Lisa Simpson, who is our pole sitter from the showdown race, or from the first segment. I bet they made a lot of adjustments to that Viagra Ford. As Becky Walters, still the race leader. She would love to make the All-Star race. Checking the back of the field here. Some of the drivers who didn't have a good result in segment one, struggling here in this current segment. And Aurora right there, racing with Rebecca Hawkins. Lindsay Sutton not having a good run. There's Annie Crenshaw. She has not found the handling right on her machine. Nearly 3 wide with Mary Morris, Chrissy House, and that's Mackenzie Thompson, the 77. So far, it is becoming a calm race, as right now, Sarnes trying to get around the Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge, out of Everham Motorsports of Becky Walters, who, by the way, is the points leader coming into this race, despite not going to victory lane. Of course, if you're Tatiana Guerra, Prudence Martindale, and Lauren Grubius, even though you're starting near the rear of the field in the All-Star race later this evening. And of course, it's going to be a lot different from day to night. So they're probably going to have to make sure their cars are going to be a little bit freer. And they're going to make some adjustments before the Diva Cup officials impound their cars for tonight's All-Star race. You'll see tonight at 7:30 p.m. At 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, it is a hot, slick day here at Charlotte. But the sun's going to be going down, the lights will come on, and the cars will handle a little bit differently at night versus in the daytime. Second place about to change hands here. Annie Winters going by Alexandre Sarnes, who will run a part-time schedule for the 33 out of Richard Childress Racing next season. That will be one of the cars that will have to race their way into the Daytona, into the season opener. Of course, I was going to think about doing the Daytona 500, but I decided at the last second, no. But I know when Sarnes joins part-time in season 2, she will have to race her way into the season opener because, remember, the 33 has no points to fall back on since season 1's only a 42-car field. A lot of other teams that are way down in owner points are going to need to get their luck turned around fast. Becky Walters trying to hold off the M&M's Ford out of Robert Yates Racing. Annie Winters' teammate Ashley Reynolds is locked in the All-Star race. So if Annie Winters makes the All-Star race, she might learn something from her teammate that will help her. Of course, we're now going to have 3 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated cars in the All-Star race with the addition of Noguera making it. And next week, I'd be a little nervous for the Diva Trucks and Busch Series drivers because Noguera is going to have more laps than any girl from this race weekend. Oh, is Tatiana Noguera going to be the favorite? Imagine her winning the All-Star race. Wouldn't that be a surprise? That would give Frank a million reasons to celebrate, if you ask me, if that does happen, as Becky Walters is about to get a "you blew it" from Annie Winters, who passes her for the race lead. So it's looking likely we're going to have 2 Robert Yates racing cars make the All-Star race, believe it or not. And the points leader going home. Who had that on their bingo card list? Not me. Annie Winters will enter next week's race 19th in the points. So this is nice momentum for Annie Winters. And I need to remember not to say you will see your point standings after the All-Star race tonight. I need to write. Actually, I wrote that down so I don't forget. Tough break for Alexandria Sarnes. Looks like she might not make the All-Star race, but hey, she got 51 laps of good data. Same with Kaiser. So if I'm those 2 ladies who got 51 laps, which is Kaiser and Sarnes, I know you're disappointed and you're happy for Tatiana Noguera, but at the same time, you're going to have a big advantage over the rest of the field in those 2 in Diva Trucks and Busch next week. So as we're entering 3 and 4 for the final time, as we just got the last lap, drag race to the line, it's going to be Annie Winters who will lock herself into the All-Star race. From second all the way down to 39th, they unfortunately will not make the All-Star race. But it was a calm All-Star Open. If you look at the rest of the results there, Kaiser ended up 32nd, but hey, like I said, for her and for Sarnes, those are 51 good laps they can take going into the points paying events next week. But hope you guys enjoyed the Open. If you guys did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCS Race Crew today. Congratulations to Lauren Gruvius, Prudence Martindale, Tatiana Noguera, and Annie Winters, who have punched their tickets in the All-Star race. For the rest of these drivers, we'll see you guys next weekend. We'll see you guys later tonight for the All-Star race. But for now, you've been watching another broadcast of PCS Race TV, the best in racing since 2017. We'll see you later tonight for the All-Star race.